Hello and welcome to another edition of another book review. This week I'll be reviewing the Ursula K work, The Lathe of Heaven. I'll talk very briefly about the author's background before giving a spoiler-free overview of the plot. I'm going to talk about what I liked about the book, what I didn't like about the book, who I'd recommend the book to, and finish off with what I will be reading for next time. Ursula K. Le Guin was one of the most lauded science fiction writers of the last century. She died, unfortunately, passed away recently, a couple years ago. But some of her works include The Left Hand of Darkness and Disposed, that are still kind of classics of the genre. She won several Hugo Awards and is very well regarded in a lot of literary circles as well. Her books oftentimes touch on things like environmentalism and feminism. This book, The Lathe of Heaven, is really no different. Comes in a little bit less than 200 pages. It's kind of more of a novella length work. It's very difficult not to spoil this, but I'll try. And basically what it's about is about a man who realizes that he is able to change the reality around him through his dreams. In order to try to stop this, he goes and sees a psychologist who creates a machine to kind of try to help him navigate that world. He also, in the meantime, becomes involved with a lawyer who is also there to assist him on this kind of journey. And from there, it kind of goes in a bunch of different places, but that's kind of the idea. It's set in, I would call, the future. I think the book was originally published in the 1960s. I think it was a really cool premise for a book. I think the idea of it was very much in the vein of kind of Philip K. Dick, who, from what I've read, this was kind of an homage to his work by Le Guin, and that kind of shows throughout. I think that the book is very, starts off a little slow, then becomes kind of propulsive towards the end the more you read it. It's very unpredictable about what happens. It kind of goes in a series of different places that I didn't quite see kind of coming in. On the downside, on the negative side, it feels a little bit like a short story stretched to the length of a novella. I don't know if there was quite all that much there. And I don't think all the pieces that kind of are established in the world kind of fit together. I think she has really interesting parts of world building in her stuff, but because in this work, but because of kind of the premise of the story, it's sometimes hard to see how everything kind of fits together. I thought that the characters were very believable, and I think there's some philosophical questions behind it that kind of gave me pause. And I think while it started slow, it hits kind of its stride about, I don't know, 50, 75 pages in. Part of me wishes it had just been a short story, because I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a cut to the chase. It feels very much stylistically like a book that was written in the 60s. There's a lot of long exposition about certain things that I don't think really were necessary, but I think they do a good job of painting the world. How much of that I needed, I think is going to differ from each person. But if you are a fan of Philip K. Dick and a fan of kind of 60s and 70s science fiction, I'd say definitely check it out. I haven't read any of her other stuff, so I can't really compare it to anything else of hers. But I may go back and pick up one of those two works I described earlier, just because they are so well known in the genre. So that is Ursula K. Le Guin's The Lathe of Heaven. If you are interested in kind of more of maybe a philosophical science fiction, then I would definitely check this out. If you're a fan of Philip K. Dick, I would definitely check this out. Until next time, where I will be reading Umberto Eco's The Name of the Rose, please feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment section in the comment below if you have read The Lathe of Heaven, or you have read more of Le Guin stuff than I did, if you have recommendations of where to go next. Also, I'll leave my link to Twitter in the comments below if you want to follow me there. Until next time, bye.